Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. More than 70 people have died and over 50 have been injured after a fire in South Africa's city of Johannesburg. Eyewitnesses say onlookers waited for what seemed like an eternity for fire services as flames engulfed the building. Officials say it is unclear what sparked the fire at the city centre 5-storey building, which had been abandoned but was occupied by homeless people. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa described the incident as a great tragedy felt by families whose loved ones perished in this terrible manner.
This incident calls on all of us, from the emergency services and other entities of government, to reach out to survivors, to help restore people's physical, psychological well-being, and to offer all material help and assistance to the residents affected by this. And I do hope that the investigations into the fire will enable communities and authorities to prevent a repeat of such a tragedy.
More than 440,000 people are still without power after Storm Idalia, now a tropical storm, moves into Georgia. Here, strong winds shaking palm trees in Sarasota. 250,000 homes are without power in the area alone. A 100-year-old oak tree fell on the governor of Florida's mansion. Here, surveillance footage showing the moment a Florida home along the coastal town of Horseshoe Beach broke apart. Residents later returning to a scene of devastation.
The search and rescue operations have been ongoing from the moment that the storm passed in the hardest hit areas, and they've probably gone through about 70% of the areas that they need to be able to check for people that are in distress. And so far all signs have been positive. There is, of course, a lot of debris to clean up, but we will get working with that with the local communities to make sure that the roads are cleared and people can go back to their lives.
At least 5 people have died after a train hit railway workers at high speeds close to a station in Italy. The workers, aged between 22 and 52, were replacing part of a track outside the northern city of Turin when they were killed. They had been working on the line between Turin and Milan when the empty passenger train went through Brandizzo station at a reported 160 kilometers per hour. The local mayor told Italian media an investigation was underway. Army officers who seized power in a coup in Gabon have named General Brice Oligui Nguema as the country's transitional leader. General Nguema was earlier carried triumphantly through the streets of the capital Libreville by his troops. The deposed president, Ali Bongo, has appeared in a video at his home calling on friends all over the world to make a noise on his behalf. Mr. Bongo's overthrow ended his family's 55-year hold on power in the Central African state. Army officers appeared on TV in the early hours of Wednesday to say they had taken power. Thailand's former premier Thaksin Shinawatra has submitted a request for a royal pardon, his latest move in a long-running power struggle with the country's establishment. Thaksin, Thailand's most famous politician, made a dramatic homecoming last week after 15 years abroad, where he lived in self-exile to avoid prison. Just over a week ago, he greeted supporters before being moved to a prison to serve an 8-year sentence for abuse of power and conflicts of interest from his time in office. And finally, a blue supermoon, a rare spectacle not to be seen again until 2037, has lit up skies across the world. The supermoon is a phenomenon where the moon appears to be much bigger than usual as its orbital path is closer to Earth and can appear to be about 7% larger and brighter than a typical full moon. Here the supermoon seen rising above Jerusalem city, and here at the famous pyramids in Egypt. Blue moons are the second full moon in a calendar month, but a blue supermoon is a rare phenomenon that will next be seen in 2032. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.